Good morning, everyone. Okay, this introduction to Revit's architecture series is focusing more on how to effectively apply our Revit knowledge in daily practice of architecture. When we talk about the context of our design, you must have the surrounding elements, and that surrounding elements, it must not be complex, it must not be very difficult to address, but it have a certain profile and certain identity or characteristic of the building, so that we can have a bit of sense of locality, we can have a bit of sense of surrounding community and activity and what's not. Okay, in this series, we will focus more on how to do it an easy way, how to capture massing building using just Revit and some tweaks using Google Maps and Google Streets. Okay, it won't take long, but the knowledge can be more efficient from time to time based on our applications. Okay, let's go straight to it. So what do we need to start is technically we need a Google Chrome or Google Maps, or if you have Google Earth Pro, that will be better. When we go into that, what we are trying to capture is a lot of information. The most information that we want to capture is about the scale of the building, the profile of the building, not necessarily the material. The material we don't really need it because the context is usually in transparent or white. And then also the volume. The volume is important as well because we want to try to capture at least the settings of the building. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's go to our Chrome. All right. So in our Chrome, usually what we go is we zoom in up until the latest, okay, up until the nearest that we can get to the surrounding area. Okay, in this sense, what we will need to capture is the profile of the satellite imagery of the building, because what we want to capture as such, on your right of the screen you should have like three images. That one that I captured is actually the profile of the building. Okay, in this sense we want to build the one with a red roof. Okay, that is located here, near here. Yep, this building. Okay, what you really want to capture is the first one is the profile of the building. Okay, and then what it looks like in the Google Street, like that. Okay, there's like a trick of uh, trace and build. Okay, trace and build is also the closest it gets to the building profile. Okay, but we can also move into also, if you have the floor plans, it would be better, the roof profiles and whatnot, because some of the building that we are building is extended, like for example this one. Okay, but the important manner of this one is actually how the building actually constructed. What's the roof type, what's the window type, that kind of detail. Okay, so let's straight away go into our Revit after we capture uh, the three images. Okay, let's go to our Revit. Okay, inside Revit. Okay, inside Revit, when we talk about Revit, what we want to do is usually we want to create a new massing. Okay, usually we go for any template, but for me, my usual template would be default metric. Okay, so browse for default metric. Okay, when you browse with your default metric, you should actually go into this layout. Okay, this layout is actually, we'll talk about how default metric is actually, for me, is the best template to start our Revit model. Usually if you go into industries, every firm have their own templates, but if there is none and you'll be the first the first one who's using, or you initiate a model, default metric template will be good for you. Okay, so what we want to do with this one is actually to capture our floor plans by actually going for the floor plans by capturing the plans from Google Google Maps. Okay, so after I captured the image from Google, okay, so I just drag in. Okay, I just drag in and scale it out. So the idea for this is to get the clearest image that we have. Okay, and then put the image on the side so that we can continuously refer to it. Okay, what I usually do is actually to make this line align with the construction line inside Revit, because inside Revit, if you have this sort of line, it's hard for us to build unless you are snapped to the orthographic elements. Okay, so what I would do is actually I would rotate this one. Okay, the control is here. I would rotate this one, and I would move the center of rotation here, and then I would just align that back in. This is the way to actually align our building. Okay, but in this sense, when we transport this into the main floor plans or main building plans, we need to align back, because this one is built based on the site condition, not the whole project condition. All right, so then we start tracing, but before we trace, usually I would actually pin it. When we pin that, you cannot move anymore, and actually if we click here, we cannot even select it anymore. This is good if you want to refer to it for a long time. Okay, next what we do is we trace the profile of the building. Go back to your Google Street. Okay, go back to your Google Street and capture how many profiles there is in the building. So I can see that there is like 1 2 3 4. Okay, 4 profiles. If you look at it, 1 2 3 and 4, that's the main one. So we go to our massing and site. Okay, and then click this one for it to enable the massing show. Okay, and then in place mass, we type in house number 1. Okay, and then we start to build it, like 1. Okay, 2. Okay, 3 is supposed to be like that, and 4 is like that. Okay, now we have that simple massing. Okay, what we need to do next is actually to capture the elevation of it, right? So if you guys were talking about how to capture the heights, okay, let's go back to the uh, Google, okay, and determine the what we call that, the segments. Okay, like for instance, we have a bicycle here. Okay, approximate a bicycle what kind of heights, okay, from the street. Imagine that we are doing just profile. So if there is like a drop here, you can put it if it's important, but it's actually so far. If it's actually so far from the side, you can actually capture only the massing. So I have railings here. That's about 900. So the roof is just about 1 meter from the railings. So that's 1.9, about 2 meters from the street. And then we have the slant here. So we know this one is about 2 meters from the street, and this one is about another floor. So we start with that. Okay. So we return back to our Revit. Okay, we return back to our Revit. Then this one, we start with this one, the one that we know approximately the heights. So click on the 3D by going here, default 3D, or you can just click this one, a shortcut. Okay. So I'm holding shift and middle click to actually rotate around, orbit around the model. So this one, I know that's about 2 meters. So I can put there 2 meters. Okay. And then this one, this edge here, okay, just move your mouse. This is the whole. If it's highlight this surface, but really wants to move this one up like that. Okay, so we already captured one of the uh, building, one of the sub building of this particular. Okay, let's say 3 meters. Okay, and then let's go back to our street view and try to capture the next one. Okay, the next one is actually the rusted metal corrugated metal sheets. It's also in the same pitch but slightly higher if you look at the middle picture. So what we do is exactly the same thing. We create about 3 meters, but this one is a bit higher, and we put 3.6 meters. Okay, and then we just slant down this one. Okay, this is to capture this area. All right, easy. All right, so if you look at the third image, we can see that the point of this one is actually captured the slants of the roof for the next one. So this one we also do the same by moving up. Okay, and then this one we move like that. Okay, and then this one also the same, we move up, but this time around, if you look at the 3D, is actually one floor up. Okay, so what I would usually do is actually I create another form on top of it, so that's around 3 meters, yeah, like that. Okay, so that's your profile, right? So next one is how do we do a pitch roof there. Okay, so let's say if we were to add some profiles to it. Okay, the idea is to set the work plane. So right now the work plane is that flattened. So if we were to set another one like this one, you can actually draw on the side of the building. Okay, you can actually draw on the side of the building like this. Okay, so it's actually like that. Okay, oops. Okay, so we set the work plane here. Okay, so that we can actually draw on top of this, yeah, like that. Okay, and then we just create another form to there, right? So that's the basic idea of our massing. Okay, but right now it's actually what we call it's separated. So how do we capture the building totally? By actually joining it. Click here and join the form. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is actually the basic massing of this building here. So finish mask first. Try to look into different color. Okay, if you want, you can also capture the view from the street, just to make sure that you are actually getting it correctly, by actually clicking here, level 1. Okay, and then you click here, view, you search for the icon camera, and actually you put it there where your mouse is, where your Google Street is. Okay, so you can actually control the navigation here. Okay, look down a bit. Okay, so this is approximately one of the views, isn't it? You can actually move it so that it's actually there. Okay, so you can get there. Okay, this is how a simple massing for a building using Revit and Google Street. This is good for us to keep it very light model, and for us to capture the massing of our building. Right? See you in the next series, uh, which is, I believe, is how to construct a components. For that, thank you so much.